Botswana, Namibia, and South Africa share a common colonial history. These territories were originally earmarked by Boers and Western imperialists to be merged into one large country governed from Cape Town under a centralized apartheid system. The goal was clear: to segregate and exploit black populations for the economic benefit of European settlers and imperial powers. Although the vision of a single apartheid superstate never materialized exactly as planned, the Boers and imperialists adapted. Instead of one giant apartheid state, they carved the region into three separate countries: South Africa, Namibia, and Botswana, each with its own parliament and uniquely tailored system of apartheid designed to fit its social and demographic realities. Different forms of apartheid. In South Africa and Namibia, the black majority was politically organized, openly resistant, and often confrontational. Because these populations were difficult to subjugate peacefully, the Boers and imperialists implemented direct and militant apartheid regimes, brutal systems enforced through violence, massacres, and open racial laws. Botswana, however, presented a different opportunity. The population of Botswana consisted of 6 major tribes, namely Batswana, Bakalanga, Khoisan, Bakgalagadi, Banoka, and Bathaba. Of these tribes, the Batswana, who make around 18% of the citizen population, shared similarities with the militant and politically conscious people of South Africa and Namibia. The remaining 82%, being the 5 non-Tswana tribes, were more politically fragmented, cooperative, and less confrontational. For this reason, imperial powers designed a subtler system. Instead of imposing direct white rule, they empowered the Tswana minority to dominate and exploit the non-Tswana majority on their behalf. This arrangement ensured that apartheid in Botswana functioned less through violence and more through structural subjugation. The result was a hidden, non-violent, yet highly profitable system where the Tswana elite acted as intermediaries for imperial interests, receiving commissions in exchange for managing and maintaining control. While South African and Namibian apartheid ended, but Botswana's continues. The apartheid systems in South Africa and Namibia eventually collapsed in the 1990s, brought down by international pressure and liberation movements led by figures such as Nelson Mandela of ANC and Sam Nujoma of SWAPO. Two factors fueled this global opposition. The first factor is visibility. White settlers openly and blatantly discriminated against black populations. The second factor is violence. Atrocities such as the Namibian genocide and South Africa's Sharpeville massacre shocked the world. Because these two regimes were so public in their brutality, they drew strong international condemnation and sanctions, ultimately forcing their collapse. By contrast, Botswana's apartheid was designed to be invisible. It operates indirectly through local proxies and without large-scale violence. This secrecy made it possible for imperial powers to preserve their economic dominance while marketing Botswana as a model of African democracy. How Botswana's apartheid was built. During the colonial era, Boers and imperialists elevated the 8 Tswana chiefs and spread them across different regions of the country, ensuring their authority extended far beyond their traditional tribal bases. Non-Tswana chiefs were systematically removed through assassination, exile, or forced abdication, and their leaderless populations were then placed under Tswana authority. Take the Northwest region as an example. Before colonization, Northwest was home to Khoisan, Wayei, Hambukushu, and Vekuhani peoples, who together made up about 95% of the area's population. In the early 1800s, with imperial support, the Batawana clan, a small Tswana subgroup, migrated north and settled there. By 1900, Mau had been established as their capital with European backing. Although the Batawana represented less than 0.1% of the region's population, they were elevated as rulers. Europeans traded exclusively with Batawana chiefs, enriching them with guns, goods, and influence. Missionaries, schools, and business also flowed through Batawana authority, while the indigenous Nantswana chiefs were sidelined and stripped of power. When Britain formalized colonial rule in 1885, it reinforced this structure. Only Tswana chiefs were invited to sit on the African Advisory Council. Only they were recognized by the colonial police, and only they could hold kota, the public assemblies. In the Northwest, Batawana chiefs expanded control by appointing subordinate headmen loyal to them across villages such as Komana, Toteng, Sihithwa, Tsao, Makakung, Nokane, Gumare, Sipopa, Etsa, Shakawe, Seronga, Kwai, Mababe, Sankuyu, Shorobe, and Kasane. Over time, Nantswana people became so marginalized that many of them adopted false Tswana identities to access jobs, land, or recognition. This created illusions that Tswana were the majority in regions where they were in fact a tiny minority. Post-independence, apartheid cemented into law. Independence in 1966 did not dismantle this system. It entrenched it. The first president of Botswana, Cyril Ramaphosa of Bangwato clan, inherited and formalized these structures. The Constitution of Botswana enshrined the dominance of Tswana chiefs, Section 77 to 85, while the Tribal Territories Act placed non-Tswana land under Tswana chiefs. Even the country's name, Botswana, symbolically recognized only one group, the Batswana tribe. In the Northwest, for example, the Tawana Land Board and Northwest District Council were dominated by the Batawana chief. He appointed commissioners and administrators who managed land and governance, while non-Tswana chiefs were excluded entirely. The result was a system that appeared to outsiders as ordinary bureaucracy or corruption, but which in reality was the machinery of apartheid. The hidden apartheid of Botswana. Although the system's establishment involved violence, notably the assassination of non-Tswana chiefs, it largely relied on non-violent mechanisms, being structural inequality, patronage, and denial of recognition. This subtlety allowed Western powers to conceal Botswana's apartheid, projecting Botswana as one of Africa's most stable democracies, even as non-Tswana communities remained marginalized and impoverished. As president of Liberal Authenticans, LA, a political party leading the struggle of marginalized non-Tswana peoples, I see my role as part of the same historical continuum as Mandela and Nayoma, fighting to dismantle a hidden system of apartheid that continues in Botswana today in 2025.